Okay, Sistas fans, if you joined my live stream on my Twitter space last night, you know I don't really have much to say about this episode. Score, it can bounce back between a 5 and a 6. I'll be relatively nice and give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was okay. It was a mid-tier episode. It wasn't terrible. A hell of a lot better than last week, but yeah, this is an okay episode. So yeah, again, this was season 5, episode 4, The Letter. Things heat up between Fatima and Deja as Zach plays mediator. Zach agrees to go to Karen's to put it all out on the table so he and Fatima can move forward in peace. I mentioned this during the live and Twitter space. Well, mainly during the Twitter space. It's the fact that this episode just further proves that Zatima is holding up Sistas. Not just the couple, but the show as well. I know that after the first, 15 minutes or so in regards to the gym scene and whatnot, that was it. I could have cut off the episode right there and just replayed the finale of Zatima. Like when it was brought up about the hot tub, I was just thinking like, damn, okay, so that's canon to Sistas now. Now I want to see the final episode again. Fatima's still tripping. And look, I don't take me too seriously all the time. Like I was joking about the whole Deja thing. Like Fatima, look, I love you, but if you put hands on my baby Deja, we're gonna have problems. It's all in good fun. And yeah, Fatima was correct in calling out Deja for not having rent and trying to pay for her rent in another way. And yeah, she was right. But Fatima, and I'm gonna quote Zach again. Keep that same energy. She is calling out Zach for this and that, but she's full of it too. Later on in the episode, I know I'm jumping ahead, but she is automatically against Zach going over to Karen's for that dinner and whatnot because Miss Lisa set it up. And I love how, Zach was like, look, she cool people. That shows that, yeah, Zach and Miss Lisa are still on good terms. The fact that Zach really does trust in Miss Lisa's judgment. It's just that, the whole, if you're doing well, she'll do well. That's kind of like the main thing that had me going, come on, Miss Lisa. But yeah, Zach and Miss Lisa know each other pretty well. So he knows to trust her. But the fact that, okay, but Fatima, did you bring up Ian's mom wanting you to go over to their house for dinner? Keep that same fucking energy. Okay. All right. So Fatima wants to. Okay. The episode starts off pretty bad. It's the fact that Fatima doesn't want to blow up at the gym because of the fact that Zach called her Karen and Zach tries to explain, look, I'm not in love with Karen. We got heat up in this argument. You kept dropping Karen's name and it just slipped. I really wish he would have said, because you were acting like Karen. We would have arguments like this all the time. And then when you throwing her name around, like you threw her name around 100 times in 30 seconds, yeah, it's going to make sense for me to call you Karen because it brought up old emotions, but not because I love her. So this is the part that got me going, come on, Fatima, this is starting to make me just dislike you more. I don't hate Fatima. I hate how she's being portrayed. Just like in the last episode, when Zach asked, okay, so, well, yeah, this was when they were getting ready for the gym, not when they were at the gym. How come when I want to talk about Karen, it has to be when you're ready? Like, it can't be done right then, right there. But when you want to talk about Karen or anything else I don't want to talk about, I got to stop everything so we can talk about it right there on the spot. What happened in the last episode? Zach said, look, can I just finish my workout? I don't want to do this here. Oh, no, we're doing this right now, Zach. We're talking about this right here, right now. And then, because Fatima got in her feelings, she's going to shut it down. I got to go. I'm going to go. I'm about to blow up. She's becoming more of a bully than a girlfriend. And I'm not going to say fiance because of the weird continuity where there are events from late Zatima season 1, like the hot tub fight being mentioned, but nothing being mentioned of them being engaged. It's weird. But yeah, it's just the fact that Fatima will bully Zach into doing what she wants. But when he wants to have an open, honest conversation, it's got to be on her terms. It used to be these two were on equal footing, so to speak, in that they would respect each other's feelings, thoughts, and whatnot. And yeah, they would argue, but there was apologies from both sides. It's gotten to the point where it's Zach being the one to apologize. When, not to say he's innocent, but Fatima does wrong too. But it's like Zach apologizes just for the sake of making peace. So Fatima just runs off, and Deja comes up. Oh, I overheard that. And Zach, do you want to talk about it? And Zach rejects her advances, multiple times. Look, these are my two friends, and look, hey, nice to meet you all, but I need to finish my workout so I can go work. Look, you work from home. Yeah, but I still got work to get, done, so I gotta go. So it's like, look, can you spot me? No. Look, you take T-Boz and Chili and go on over there. So that was pretty funny. So after that, Deja is overheard by Fatima in the locker room talking about how I ain't got rent, but I'll figure out another way to pay for it, if you know what I mean. So, Fatima comes over there and, she warns her once again, look, don't make me beat your ass again. One of the girls like, wait, what did she mean again? Oh, yeah, you ain't telling about the hot tub. Oh, yeah, look, don't even worry about it. Ain't even crazy. Like, girl, come on now. So after that, Fatima slams her hand in the locker a few times and her girls run off, and Zach overhears the commotion, tries to go in there to, break it up. And, it's funny how Deja throws herself at Zach. Oh, Zach, like, no. So then, it's funny how, even before they go in the locker room, Deja's like, I'm going to be a little late on my rent. And it's like, look, that's okay. We'll work something out. It's like, yeah, I figured, no. Just get the money. So then after the situation in the locker room where Zach tries to get Fatima to calm down, it's like, look, don't you got to go to work? It's like, Deja, no, you come on. Look, I'm leaving, Zach, you leaving too. It's like, Deja, rent's due on the 1st. It's like, Deja, are you okay? Get your ass out here, Zach. Okay. See, that was funny. That was funny because Fatima's actions were justified in terms of how she was snapping on Zach. But other than that, it's just that I hate how Fatima's being written where it's her way or it's no way. That's what I really hate about it. All right, so then we go over to Maurice's apartment, and this episode did good in that it answered a lot of questions fans have been asking. Like, it was brought up that Calvin's name isn't on the lease because Maurice apparently blabbed his mouth about that too. So yeah, there's really nothing Calvin can do. And I mentioned this before. I'm like, damn. Even if Calvin called the cops, I don't think that would do any good because of the fact that it seems Logan is Team Q. So without his name on the lease, Calvin's name on the lease, and if he called the cop, I mean, what exactly can be done because they have that confession? Somebody else pointed out during the live stream last night, it's a damn shame, if Calvin would have recorded Q literally running his mouth at the breakfast table, he could have him arrested because he literally confessed to everything, even setting up Maurice and Sabrina. So yeah, Q came out of his room with, I can't tell if that was another girl or the same one from last night. Could be the same girl for different hairstyle. I don't care. But anyway, he's ready to go to work. He gloats about the whole situation and he screwed over Maurice and, well, there's nothing you can do about it. And Calvin just sits there. That's it. So as soon as Q leaves to go to work, I said on Twitter, like, Calvin needs to change them damn locks. So as soon as Q leaves, I love the fact that Calvin has like a locksmith hidden away in his room to go change the locks. He's like, yeah, let's see how his ass like that when he get home. Number one, I think he even said like add a second, lock or something like that. So he's definitely trying to make the place as secure as possible. Smart move, but a couple of things. Number one, do you know what time Q gets off of work and when he's going to get home? Like, number two, Calvin, what if Q is just sitting outside of the door waiting for you because the locks have been changed? Number three, Q is a criminal, and something tells me unless you got like a legit security system, I think he can just break into the apartment again. There you go. All right, so over at Karen's apartment, Pam comes over because apparently she has a key. And Miss Lisa, after, saying, look, if you don't annoy her and raise her blood pressure like you do mine, you can go back and see her. So, yeah, it's cool that Pam wants to come over and check on a girl. And something else to note is Karen has looked so nice in this episode and last week because when she doesn't have that scowl on her face, she definitely does, glow a healthy look of just happiness. And I don't think we've ever seen this look on Karen's face since like season 2 when the girls noticed how much she was changing due to her relationship with Aaron. So yeah, Pam asked about I'm sorry. Karen apologizes to Pam for flipping out on her because you were my girl, you're just trying to look out for me. And I'm thinking like, yeah, that's nice, Karen, but it's like, how long is it going to last before you flip out on her again? But this was a sweet scene for what it was. And Pam asked about the Aaron situation. Karen asked Pam about, but tell me, did you tell Aaron I was at the hospital? Girl, I didn't. And then that's when they put two and two together. Wait a minute. Doesn't he know a doctor there? And then Karen's like, oh shit. And then, that, clicks in her mind like, I cussed out Fatima for nothing. For nothing. So the doctor violated hip hop law. HIPAA, Pam, HIPAA. So from there, they changed subjects to the fact that, look, I'm probably going to be on bed rest for like a week. So if you can check, make sure the salon's good. Take a checklist of what needs to be done every day. And I'm going to call you every night to make sure everything's done. And it's funny. It's like, Pam, you're not even writing anything down. That's such a Pam move. This was a fun scene. It really was. All right. So we go over to Miss Lisa calling Aaron, who's at work. We actually see Aaron briefly at work. I still want to know why she calls him the accountant, though. I mean, is that just a thing? It's like, where older people call you by the wrong name or whatever, and then they don't care to correct themselves more often than not. I don't know. But Miss Lisa wants Zach and Aaron to be over at their place at 8 o'clock to talk to Karen. Or should I just say be there at Karen's at 8 o'clock? And then he's like, I want you there at 8 o'clock. Don't be late. Oh, yeah, sure. But here's the thing. I'm inviting Zach. Are you sure about that, Miss Lisa? Because, we don't want to stress her out, right? Nigga, you're the one that stressed her out. Seriously. Zach doesn't do a damn thing. It's Karen who puts herself into situations where she flips out. But check yourself. You pulled up to the damn hospital, and as a result, she literally lost it. And you don't recognize that. That's the thing. Aaron isn't self-aware. It's like he's quick to call out, ooh, well, Karen, you need to try to do this better. Or, ooh, Zach, like, you're the one who's stressing her out. And yet you fail to see what you're doing in order to make her even more upset than she already is. So, I don't know. This dude is something else. But in any case, he does agree to go over there. And then from there, she calls Zach and it's like, hey, ain't no thinking about it. 8 o'clock sharp. And what's your girlfriend's number? No, like Zach, like, no, we ain't doing that. I love that. Because it just seems like one of those things where it's like, look, I ain't giving you my girl's number because I ain't trying to start no shit. And I do love that as the episode goes on, they kind of jump around the whole Fatima, if she's going to show up or not, because I still say Miss Lisa and Fatima know each other. I did a video on that a while ago. Long story short, her boyfriend Chris runs Chain Breakers. We know that Fatima's like a secretary, or she basically is involved in the Chain Breakers organization. It wouldn't surprise me once Chris and Miss Lisa got to know each other better, and he introduced her to her world of what he does for a living. She might have sat in on a meeting at Chain Breakers, or at the very least met Fatima. So I feel like they know each other. That's just my opinion. All right. So in any case, we move over to let me see. Sorry about that. I lost my train of thought on my notes. Yeah. So we go over to Zach, who's like, yeah, okay, well, I'll ask her. I'll ask her. He didn't want to, but look, I'll ask her and figure out where to go from there. So we go over to Danny, who calls Andy about the situation with bail. Oh yeah, Calvin got 20,000. Well, Danny, we can't really do anything because if Sabrina hasn't met or been in front of the judge, then they can't set bail yet, even if there is bail. We don't even know. So, oops, can't do nothing about that. And then Danny just, was getting on Andy's case to go up into Robin's office right away, but that's not how things work, Danny. Come on now. That's like one of the things of the episode where she keeps like, hounding Andy. You need to do this faster. You need to do this. You need to do that. This ain't the airport, Danny. This is a freaking law firm. You can't just burst into people's office like that, to try to talk to somebody. All right. So, Q's introduced to Danny, or Quincy is introduced to Danny at the job. He tries to flirt with her, but she's going through a lot right now, so she just kind of brushes off his advances. And then the guy from before, that gave her his phone number, turns out his son is okay. He's heading to work, but hey, call me later tonight to talk about dinner plans. So that's that. Then of course Calvin calls Danny. He's worried about Sabrina, but it's like, oh yeah, well, okay. I will call you only when I hear something and not before. And the thing I hate about it is it's kind of like they're kind of teasing us about Calvin and Sabrina, will they get back together? That kind of thing. Oh yeah, I'm worried about it. Oh yeah, you two have been through a lot, right? Yeah, we have. And it's like, come on, let's not entertain this. Let's not do this. Yeah, him being worried, I can definitely understand, especially with it being a setup, but we don't need to push for these two to get back together in any capacity. So, Fatima's meditating in her office. Andy comes in to ask about it. She talks about how she's mad at Karen about how she called and cussed her out. Andy tries to reassure her that, oh yeah, she's going through a lot right now and everything. And, yeah, I really don't wish I knew why she would call you and do something like that. But, is there anything else going on? And then, she mentions how Zach called me her name at the gym. Oh, I know he didn't. But then thankfully Andy vouches for, Zach and the fact that he's into you. And look, they had 3 years of a, relationship, imperfect or not. So there's a lot of emotion there. But in terms of love, he's only feeling you. And it's just the fact that Karen just hasn't accepted the fact that he's moved on yet. So yet again, you got Andy giving sound advice, but I wish she would use some of this advice and common sense when it came to her own love life. But she never does. So, in any case, she also vouches for the fact that, look, I the thing that happened with your ex happened, but Zach isn't your ex. So yet again, Andy's making a lot of sense, saying what a lot of us have been saying. And that's about it. She asked Fatima for a work file. Oh yeah, I already got it right here. So Fatima's back on her zone to get back into work. So yet again, it's just one of them things where, Fatima, why didn't you tell Andy the whole story? Yet again, it's just one of them things where I really wish Zach would have said, look, the reason I called you Karen is because you were acting just like her. And then if that was brought up, then Andy could have said, well, I'm not saying you acted like her, but they did have a lot of times where they would have these arguments. So if you did get into a fierce back and forth, then it's obvious that would have triggered some emotion. So that's about it. All right, moving on. Miss Lisa comes in with lunch for Karen, and Karen is like, look, I'm not helpless. But again, Miss Lisa, I love the fact how Karen's like, I'm not a child. Well, you're my child. And that just shows you yet again, I really wish some of the other parental figures of the characters would come into the show. This is just great stuff, a wholesome moment. But I do love how it just shows like a legit conversation that happens. Like, back in my day, we had Oprah. That's where I get, this advice from. All you have nowadays is that social media stuff. And again, I just found that great because now you have so many of these, I guess you could say relationship gurus online talking about, what a high value man, a high value woman is and what the modern woman deserves. And, the modern woman is independent and it's like, men and, dating options. It's a whole lot of static, but there's not a lot of great content that's wholesome. But then again, not all advice will work for every person since everybody's different. So I did like that conversation. But, she's having a hard time writing the letters, but she will keep doing it. And she mentions to Karen that she called the guys and they're going to be coming over. Even Fatima got invited and she starts freaking out about that. Mama, you trying to stress me out? No, I'm thinking to myself, Karen is just upset because she knows if Fatima shows up, is going to be some shit because she's going to reveal all the bull that Karen's been up to. Like, she knows she can like talk to Zach and Aaron however she wants to, but Fatima's a real one. And it's like, wait, what are you worried about? Look, I called and cussed her out. Oh yeah, Zach told me about that. And yeah, I was wrong. And look, I'm just mad at her and because I'm mad at him. She's a cool chick and whatever. And it's just fake ass sincerity there. I don't know. It's like when she apologized at the penthouse, like, I wanted to hurt you and all this stuff. But then she was back to being a bitch like an episode later. But I really wish Fatima would show up. Oh yeah, also, Miss Lisa did mention that I overheard you on the phone. Yeah, Karen had called Andy about the whole situation involving being on bed rest, being in the hospital. Again, Pam should have called them because Andy was worried sick. Oh my God, you're in the hospital. You okay? Yeah, had a little scare, but everything's fine. My mom's here and, she got me on lockdown and, what's going on with you? And, Andy's like, she kept it cool because, she didn't want to freak her out. So she doesn't mention like Sabrina being locked up and whatnot, but she does want to come by. And, Miss Lisa does say, well, she can come by tomorrow. Come on, Ma. So, from there, Andy calls Danny, not about the Sabrina thing, but the fact that, look, Karen was in the hospital, and if you want to call and talk to her, don't mention the Sabrina thing to, freak her out. So basically, then Danny goes on a tangent about Mandingo Gary, and I don't really care about that because it's nonsense. So going back to Zach, who calls Fatima, and he's at the office, and I'm like, wait, what? So he pulls her to the break room so they can talk, and he apologizes, and yet again, she needs to apologize too. But look, I know you're upset. I want to explain. I don't really know how to prove to you that I only love you and no one else. But let me tell you, Miss Karen's mom asked me to come over there tonight for dinner. And look, Aaron's invited too. For what? What is he invited for? What are y'all going over there for? Well, apparently just to talk to Karen. I think this is a good thing so we can leave everything out on the table. And it's kind of weird how Fatima is all against this because usually she's the first one. Go over there, see Karen. Check on Karen. Hey, test and see how you feel. But now all of a sudden, no, this better be the last time, Zach. And see what I mean? But then he's like, look, but you got invited too. Oh, no, I'm not going over there. I'm about to set it off. No, I think you should go. It's like, no, Zach, I'm not going. Yet again, Zach is trying to make peace. Hey, you got an invite. I think we should both go. No, you go over there and squash this. And not to talk bad about Zach, but Fatima, he doesn't always have the best track record of squashing things. Usually you got to go behind him and squash, what he didn't. So don't you think you should go over there too in order to ensure everything is, put to bed once and for all? Even more reason because of the fact that you were invited. But nope. She's like, I want to call some of my girls and my cousin to be at the house, tonight. So I don't know. I guess when Zach is over at Karen's place, that's when Fatima's going to do all that. I'm thinking to myself, Lord, is she going to gang up on Deja or something? I don't know. But in any case, the final scene, as they are walking out of the office, they run into Hayden, and Hayden's just tripping. Like, what are you doing here? It's like, I got a restraining order. I don't care about no damn restraining order. It's like, you worry about Zach. You need to be worried about what you're sipping out of. Wait, what do you mean? Stop playing, Fatima. And then they do a head tilt, and that was the best part of the episode. And then Zatima bounces. So Hayden goes into Andy's office, pretty much, mentions a restraining order, and then she mentions the policy of the company. Oh, clients, don't have to adhere to restraining orders. Well, Zach is my client. Oh, you playing, huh? So then we had a back and forth about how, why don't you check with Robin about the contract? No, I think you need to check with Robin. What are you talking about, Hayden? Oh, been in his office? That's kind of been a running thing of the episode that, oh, well, Robin is in his office and he's having a meeting with somebody, so, don't go in there and disturb him. But, yeah, so we go over to the fact that it's Gary in the office. Andy freaks out, and that's the end of the episode. So that's pretty much it. So, yeah, I thought this episode was pretty okay. Nothing too out of the ordinary, but let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Like and subscribe, follow me on social media, and I'll catch you in the next one.